Ew. What's going on, guys? So I'm just going to be doing a little heat review of how I did in the Snowdonia event for the UK Pro Surf Tour. I didn't do as well as I wanted to do, but that's just how it goes sometimes in competition. In fact, quite a lot for me, but it happens. I mean, my biggest challenge is sort of dealing with the pressures, and sort of I let a lot of pressure get to me. I don't know why. I've tried different methods onto sort of how to deal with it. This time I sort of like tried to go in with a little bit more of a cooler head, in terms of almost like play it off as a joke. So I was like going in just like laughing and smiling, but as soon as I sort of got close to that time of like, oh, now it's your wave, that all went out the window, and I was just like, oh no, kind of struggling with it a little bit. But so definitely not going to try that technique for the next competition. I think it's going to be sort of a more of a focused person. I need to sort of just get my head down, listen to my music, get into my own sort of headspace out there. But we're on to the video now, and as you can see, I'm sort of waiting for this wave. First little tip I will give you guys, if you ever surf this, you can kind of see just along the wire there's little discs, and they start to spin up just as the machine starts moving. One of the commentators said like it looked like I was looking the wrong way for the start of it, which I am, because I'm looking at the discs there. So sort of I'm just watching it spin up, and then you can sort of hear it get close to you, and then I look behind, and then I'm sort of getting ready. Again, just was one of my ways to try and deal with the pressure a little bit more, but obviously didn't work that well. As you can see, first of all, got to get around that first section. It's quite a hard section to get around. Picked the wrong maneuver there. Should have probably just done a turn off that lip, and then fell on that last section there. The biggest tip I can give anyone that surfs that is sort of just be patient with the wave a little bit. As you can see there, I rushed it a bit too much. Sort of on that, especially that last maneuver, could have just held just for a split second more, held that bottom turn there, then gone up into the lip. Instead I went up, and it was more, the wave wasn't quite broken yet, so I sort of like started off as a floater, then tried to turn it into a snap, which just didn't go well obviously, and nose went straight in and I went over. But yeah, as you can see, I hop up, get the first few pumps away. Again, should have just gone up, instead do a cut back. Now I'm fighting to get back onto the shoulder. Managed to do it though, but again, if I just held off onto that last one, would have been able to finish that off. That would have sort of switched the whole mindset around. As I went into the heat, my first, or I think pretty much every surfer's in this event, sort of your first aim is to get a complete score. If once you got that complete score, then you can sort of build on that, sort of work onto the next one. If you got a score under your belt, at least then you can sort of maybe like sort of progress, do more extreme maneuvers. Extreme, that's not really the right word, but you know what I mean. Just progress a little bit more, try a little bit, a few things different. But the way it worked is, as you can see, is so you've sort of got your left hand wave. That's a practice wave, hence why the camera's sort of only showing you from the back of it. It's quite annoying because I actually had quite a nice practice wave then, but it was, I think it's more, like I said, pressure got to me a little bit there, so I was more focused on just on sort of actually enjoying my surfing, trying to sort of regather my head and actually surf better then. Whereas those rights, I was a little bit more tensed up, a little bit rushing everything, so it's just a hard one to sort of get your head around. But the way it sort of worked out in terms of people there and stuff, you're the side of where the cafe is, if you guys know that, if you've ever been there. But you've got sort of spectators lined up the whole way there, the judges, you've got water photographers in there, and it's only one person in the water. So like from that, like the pressure is on. It's everyone's watching, you can feel all their eyes are on you, and you certainly definitely do feel it out there. But like I said, it's just a way of how I was trying to deal with it. Didn't quite deal with it in the right way, and for next time it's definitely gonna something I've got to work on. And it's more, like I said, I struggle with that in all competitions, so not just this one, it's just something I need to work on there. So paddling in for my second scored wave, paddled slightly earlier, and I actually stumbled on this first pump there, which just caused a little bit of a head head numbing thing, and then managed to get out onto the face, dug in there. It was actually quite a nice turn if I actually managed to come out of it, but lost a bit of balance, leant too far back, dragged my arm a bit too much, which just caused me not to sort of gather my balance again, which is annoying. They don't show a replay for this one, so I'll just talk it through again. But like the mistakes there, the mistake was straight from the off. As soon as I stood up, had a little stumble, which caused me to get hung up in that lip. From there, like I said, more of the headspace, nothing to do sort of with my like actual surfing. It was more of like, you've made a mistake straight away. It's kind of a hard thing to regather everything and go into your second turn with a clear head. But I managed to cut that the first maneuver a little bit shorter than on my first wave, which meant I was out onto the face a little bit quicker. Again, second maneuver, dug in a little bit more, which was nice. Managed to get a bit of spray out there, but like I said, finished the turn way too late. A lot of these, and like looking back on it, I was finishing pretty much all my turns at the bottom of the wave, which I should have, like everyone that did well out there, they were finishing their turns right at the top, or sort of 3/4 down the face of the wave, or not 3/4 down, so the first quarter of the top of the wave. Just means that you can get straight out onto the face again and onto the next maneuver. You can't really do anything when you're behind that section. It's a lot harder to get out onto the open face. There's a lot of people struggling with that, but that's just where it goes. The wave is a real difficult wave to surf. As you can see on sort of my takeoffs or any videos you watch, you get dragged away from the fence a lot quicker than you realize, and anyone could give you the most amount of tips. I did so much research on this before the event, watched like all the videos there is out there on how to surf this wave, and like even then I knew exactly what was going to happen. I knew what was going to, or what everyone was saying it felt like, but you don't know until you sort of get there, until you've ridden it. It's all a little bit strange, it's a bit weird. So it's like I said, it's a hard wave to get used to. It's a lot different to the ocean waves. With the ocean waves, you can sort of read what's coming towards you as you're going down the line. You can see different peaks coming towards you. You know when to do sort of a cutback. You know when to do a turn off the lip. You know when you need to get out in front. Whereas this one, literally as you're pumping down the line, every section looks like pretty much a perfect time to do a cutback, because it's all there. It's like a perfect shoulder. But anyway, I'll carry on like that after this third scoring wave here. So paddle in a little bit further behind the section, but managed to get around it there. Cut the turn nice and short there, which means I can lean into that second turn, which was a nice turn there. Again, and this is the point where I've just made another mistake. And this is where I was saying, you just got to wait. That extra split second again would have given me that time, or that lip to just close that a little bit more, and for me to do an actual snap on that turn. Instead, got caught in between a sort of floater and a snap, which is a really weird turn to get caught in between. It's not very normal, but as you can see there, like, there's a nice second turn. It even should have maybe gone up and done another turn straight after that. That way I could have finished that turn. 3 real quick maneuvers. It would have got me that score, would have pushed me actually up onto the sort of leaderboard in a fairly decent place, I reckon. But I mean, it didn't happen out there. I messed up, but that's just the way it goes. If you guys see anything that I could improve on, let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and follow all of our socials in the description. Thank you all.